Hello. Hi, thanks for being here. And just before we move on to the Q&A, Claudio Descalzi will give a very short introduction. And then afterwards, when we move to the Q&A, I would ask you to say your name and the media you work for. Thank you.
No, thank you, Erika. I thought to make an introduction, but I don't know if maybe you follow the presentation and is useless. But just to highlight a few points of this presentation, because so this presentation is being divided into two parts. One is a confirmation. We are confirming our strategies that we declared in 2014, and we showed our results that we announced and expected, and were expected in 4 years, that we achieved in 1.5 years. And the second point is related to the price and costs. And the point we made is that everybody talk about prices. Everybody talk about prices. What is tomorrow the price? What is in the future? But we have to understand that we cannot do anything on prices. And nobody talk about costs. But what we can do about cost, what we can do on our asset, on our strategy to reduce cost, because it's completely useless to talk about something on which you cannot do anything. So all the presentation has been talking about how we are in terms of our cost structure, in terms of assets, how we are resilient, and what we have done to reduce costs without destroying future value, because it's very easy, but it's a very short term to cut cost, cut project, fire people, and you reduce cost, but at which price? So you are able to fit and respect and fulfill the short term, but at the end of the day, you destroyed the long term. So we say, we have to talk about cost in a very constructive way. We have to reduce our break-even. We have to work on the supply chain. And we have to be able to link the short term and the long term. We don't have to destroy value just to fit the short financial terms. And that has been the base of our presentation. And the main result of all this is just two numbers. Is our break-even price. We passed from a $45 break-even to a 27. So how that? How you can reach this low break-even? That is the main question. That because of our strategy to start from exploration. And when you think at the cost structure, you say, what is your technical cost structure? Is made by exploration cost per barrel, operating cost per barrel, and capital cost per barrel. If you start from an exploration cost of $5 or $6 or $7, or an exploration of $1, it's completely different. So our success in exploration, and exploration with some kind of characteristics that was close to our facility, so we have a lot of synergies, and we can reduce capex. That is a conventional exploration, so it's cheaper, and is huge amount of barrels, and based on a very fast track. That is a way to reduce. So we have a lower exploration cost. Then we have to add a operating cost that is now the lower of the industry. We will get in 2016 $6.4 per barrel. That is a lower operating cost in the industry. And then the capex per barrel that now is 11. So from a technical cost point of view, we pass from a $30 per barrel to a $20 per barrel. And then we have to talk about the break-even that is not just technical, but is also contractual and fiscal. cost and royalties, and we pass from 45 to 27. So that means that we are in the condition, in our 4-year plan, to reduce about 18 billion euro of investment considering the previous plan. And these 18 billion euro of investment are made by 3.5 billion euro of supply chain, so better contractual conditions, especially on the drilling and the supplying and goods and APC contract and services, sorry. And from the other side is we had the possibility, because we found a lot of resources, to shift out of the plan some projects at very high cost with production that were outside the plan, and we put in the plan the new discovery we made. That means that you must have a very fast time to market, because if you are able to discover something like we made in Egypt and in Congo, if you are able to discover something 1 year ago and is already in production, or you discover something in June, like in Egypt, in June, Nurus, in June 2015, and in September or December 2015 is already in production, you can do that. So you can push out very complex projects, postpone, and then put new discovery. So that is a way where you can grow your production, because through that kind of action, not only we reduce our cost of corporate cost, overall cost, E&I cost of 21%, but we have been able to confirm our growth rate. So 3% per year. So that is the main highlight from our presentations. So I think now we can start with the Q&A.
Yeah. If you have any questions, one here.
Hello? Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Nasir Shirkani from the Upstream newspaper. I've got 3 questions for you. The first one is on Zohr. First, there will be a first phase development involving 6 wells. Presumably, production from those wells will go to an existing onshore plant. And then you will be building 2 more onshore plants. And have you awarded the contracts already to Ajib and...
Ajib is SAS.
Sorry, yeah, of course. And Petrojet and NP. Or will there be new bidders for those onshore plants? And secondly, on Iraq, we understand that there are negotiations on the technical service contracts you signed. Obviously, the Iraqi government wants to modify them. Are you in serious discussions with them, or is it just a case of Iraqis actually telling you, this is it, take it or leave it?
Okay.
And the third one is, when are you going back to Dar Khowein again? Thank you.
Are you going back?
That is very fast. So first, Zohr. Zohr is first of all, we are awarding contracts. Why Zohr is so fast? Because with the AGPC and the ministry, we said, if we want to be fast, we have to use our contracting company. So, as you said, we use MP, Petrojet, and Saipem. Saipem will so that are the 3 main, and that means that we say 2 years of, and that will be the company in charge. We already start on the onshore. Why the onshore? We need the onshore because we pass from 1 billion scf a day, now we reach close to 3 billion scf, standard cubic feet per day. So it's a huge amount of production. And it's true that we have a first phase and an accelerated phase, so we enter in a ramp up. So we must be ready with all the infrastructure immediately. Because the first phase will be 2017, but after 2 years, so the time to drill the addition of 10, 14 wells, we have to be ready and have all the facility in place ready. So the huge amount of production, And the fact that we want to have a time to market very short between the first phase and the second phase, just a ramp up, put us in a condition to build immediately the two treatment plant in the onshore, and we already started. All the long lead items for umbilicals, wellhead, as you said, are already ongoing. So we are really running for this first oil. Iraq, we are not in discussions. We are not in discussion for a new contract. We are always in discussion, but we didn't get any proposal. We didn't get any proposal for a new contract. So that is the situation at the moment. When we go back to Darqain, to go back to Darqain, we like Iran. We are still there. We have good relationship. You must have a contract. We already said that we like to back, but we like to go back, but we don't like the buyback. So if we have a different contract and at least a less risky contract, we are ready to evaluate and discuss. We are always in discussion with our Iranian colleagues, but at the moment we don't have a new contract yet.
One over there.
Thank you very much. Ron Booster from Reuters. Could you give me some more detail on your planned asset sales and disposals, especially interested in Zohr? You said that 100% is too much. What kind of stake are you thinking of selling? Are you in talks? And similarly, Mozambique, you said 50% is too much. What kind of stake would you like to dispose of? And that was Mamba. What about the Area 4, the 15% you hold? Are you in talks with anyone there? And the ubiquitous question about Iran, anything new in terms of the proposals that you're discussing with their production contracts? Are you seeing any movement there? And are you thinking of going back to upstream production there? Thanks.
Yes. No, on the disposal, I already said everything before. I can repeat the same things. I mean that we are working on the Mozambique. I think that we are not far, but it's clear that it's a commercial negotiation. I cannot disclose anything more than that, but that is a target. And we're going to see in terms of stakes or working interest. But that is something that we think to conclude in 2016. On Zohr, we have been discussing, honestly, with a lot of interested parties, but we have been much more focusing on the exploration phase, the development, the control strategy, and the discussion with our Egyptian colleagues. So we put really a big effort. If you think that we did in 6 months what normally happens in 4 years or 3 years for a giant discovery, sometimes 10 years to get the FID, we did in 6 months. You can imagine the amount of work and passion and push that we put in these 6 months. So Zohr is probably in the future because 100% is too much. And now we are more focused on what we are doing. Iran, I think that I already answered to your colleague about Iran. Iran, we are not discussing on the contract. We had a preliminary discussion in November or December when there's been a presentation, but no complete presentation. That they were supposed to have the second presentation in February in London, that has been postponed. So we are waiting. We are waiting to have news. We are waiting to have discussion. We don't have any specific discussion on any proposal at the moment.
We had one here first. Sorry.
Hi, Stuart Elliott from Platts. 2 quick questions on gas. Firstly, in February you said that you had agreed with Gazprom to maximize Russian gas purchases. Does that mean you came up with a new pricing mechanism with Gazprom for your gas imports, something with a price ceiling or a price floor, something like that? And secondly, do you still believe in the concept of a long-term gas supply contract? Thank you.
For Gazprom, we are always discussing about price and how to align price to the European and Italian hub with Gazprom. We are now importing 20 billion and we can reach up to 22 billion cubic meter per year. Relationships are very good. We already discussed and we negotiated a new formula 1.5 years ago. So we have a ceiling and a floor. We are inside and we try to every time to stay close to the hub. So we are not in the position to lose money at least. About the long-term contract. So what is my position? It's clear that the remuneration we got and normally got in the past is completely different. The world's changed. We have hubs, so we have different kind of reference, and it's not easy, and there is a lot of negotiation to be able to keep align the market with the price. So tools essential for the country to guarantee energy security, but for a company, I'm not the best tool at the moment with a new hub configuration that is growing. We have much more gas at the hub is growing in Europe, much more in Europe, but also in Italy as well. So it depends on the condition. I don't know if I'm going to sign a new contract for European gas, that is clear. We have, fortunately, our retail gas that cover about 7 billion cubic meter per year. That give us some flexibility on how to manage these contracts.
Just over here, thank you.
Thank you. Matilde Maraghetti with IZ CERN. 3 more questions on gas. The first is, during the presentation you say that long-term gas supply contracts with Gasterra was going to be fully renegotiated by mid-2016. Could you please give us some more details on these and the stage of other contracts renegotiation? And secondly, this morning was announced an explosion at a gas field in Algeria. So a gas field run by Sonatrach, Statoil and BP. I wanted to know if you think that the unrest in the country could have an impact on gas flows to Italy. And thirdly, Algerian gas flows have increased this year so far compared with last year. And is this because of the contracts oil indexation? And do you expect this trend to change as the contract gets renegotiated?
I say a few things about Algeria from a geopolitical point of view, then I give the floor to Umberto to elaborate on the Gasterra contract. I heard something I'm not aware because it happened during the presentation and during the Q&A session. I just read very quickly. And I understood that has been an attack, terrorist attack, fortunately without impact for the installation of Statoil and BP. I don't know if that is a new wave of terroristic act in Algeria. I know that Algeria is very on the top of things in terms of control. So I think we have a lot of activities and well protected and controlled by the army. So I really rely on the strength and control of the Algerian authority. It's really that I hope that is a singular anomaly in the system that unfortunately we know that can happen. but I don't feel in Algeria some special tension respect. Few days, few months ago, we have been also recently. We found I think a country that is working, that is progressing, that is focusing on energy and not only on energy. For the Algerian contracts, we signed a new contract. We increased the volume, and that is a negotiation for volume and prices that we closed last year. So that is one of the contracts that we finalized in terms of negotiations. For Gasterra, Umberto can answer.
Gasterra is one of our historical suppliers. We have 3 contracts with Gasterra. For one of these contracts, we entered into renegotiation in 2012, and this is the contract for which we are waiting the outcome of the arbitration process, since we were not able to get to an agreement, a commercial agreement. Actually, on the other 2 contracts, we have closed an agreement on the second of this contract just a few months ago, and we are progressing in the discussion for another commercial agreement on the third. All of this involves price and volume revision. You also questioned about indexation. Our portfolio today, if I look at the gas that we have of take in 14 and 15, I can say that 70% of it is now hub index. So the part that is oil index is about 30%. And for that is interesting to see how the oil indexation, not a linear indexation, sometimes doesn't even drop as fast as the price at the hubs is dropping, despite the fact that the Brent price has dropped. So for us, the task remained pretty much the same at this moment in time, here in negotiation, contracts that are hub index or oil index, because of the formula mechanism. Did I answer to your question?
Raffaella, over there.
Buonasera, sono Raffaella Bruno di Asca News, lo faccio in italiano, preferisco. Volevo chiedere una domanda per la Presidente su un tema politicamente sensibile in Italia, quale sarà il prossimo referendum cosiddetto anti-trivelle. Volevo avere appunto una vostra opinione. Eni com'è coinvolta in questo referendum, cioè se avete piattaforme coinvolte dal quesito. E invece al dottor Descalzi volevo chiedere qual è la sua opinione sul prossimo incontro che ci sarà a Doha il 17 tra i paesi OPEC e non OPEC.
Okay. Well, on the referendum, of course, we are not happy with this referendum. I just want to say just to give some number on this. This activity in Italy is an important one. It's a good industry. We are talking about around 30,000 people, 30,000 jobs, direct and indirect. We are talking about around €1 billion of investment in Italy. We're talking about 300 million of investment in research and development. We're talking about €1 billion of tax and royalties. So we're talking about an important industry with an important number in Italy. The idea behind the referendum is that the referendum could create some accidents, could create some pollution. If you look at what's going on since 50 years in Italy, because we are talking about wells that are there since 50 years, there has no big pollution, there has been no accident. So if you look at concrete and pragmatic things, there is no this kind of risk. Another thing that the people who are for the yes are saying is that this kind of activity could affect tourism in Italy, but if you look at what's going on, 80% of the platform are in Ravenna, where you know there is one of the most important touristic industry in Italy, and there is no real problem there. So, of course, we oppose. We don't think this is a good thing. As you know, this referendum is already as an impact, some of international investors are leaving Italy. Maybe some else will do that. So that's something that, in our opinion, doesn't have to go on.
So I think that another question about Doha. So what is happening with the discussion between OPEC and non-OPEC is an historical thing. It's not been highlighted, I think, enough on the press, on the newspaper. It's something never happened before, and it's something that can immediately and impacted immediately on the oil price. So the fact that OPEC and non-OPEC will be together in meeting, that they already found the agreement of 27 countries, what the OPEC president said, and now they are trying to build together more stability, so give some stability to the oil price and attract on the commodities, oil commodity, again the long-term investors. I think that is really important. Important because we are going to defend investment, jobs, and give a more stability to the growth and to the system. So I'm quite positive about this meeting. I was surprised at the very beginning, but I'm very happy that the dialogue can defend the energy sector that have to express a lot of things also in the future. The population is growing, we need energy, and we need stability in the sector.
Giancarlo, back there.
Thank you, Giancarlo Navag, Reuters. Before you said that one of the disposals of this year is also Versalis, the chemical. I want to ask you if you are convinced that the US fund, SK Capital, is the right solution for Versalis, or if you are talking to other partners, possible partners too.
So Versalis is not to be viewed as a disposal. In Versalis we invested because we changed a business that for 20 years lost money. We lost 7 billion from 2005, 7 billion euro in chemicals. We put money from other business and we put in Versalis, okay, in chemicals. It was not Versalis, the name. In Versalis in 2000 we had 14,000 people, now we have 4,000 people. Now we decided 2 or 3 years ago to start a different kind of approach. So investing, restructuring, changing products, go to the specialties, making new a joint venture outside. And we plan for a bigger investment plan that is close to 1.5 billion. And we did that because we wanted to launch again Versalis business and Versalis as a company. Then we said in 2014, then chemicals is not in our strategy, like in the core of our strategy to create an oil and gas integrated company. So, and we proceed with our strategy, and what we decided 1 year ago, that with a very low oil price, if we wanted to continue this investment and continue to be for the first time in a positive EBIT and cash situation, we had to invest. We didn't have money to invest in the chemicals, so we start a beauty contest. It's not that we selected SK, we start a beauty contest with different entity, and SK won this beauty contest, okay? It's not a single source. And then we start the negotiation. And the negotiation is made through different kind of due diligence. They have to make due diligence. We have to make due diligence on the financial capability, and that is what we are going to discover. If there will be enough strong to support this acquisition, make investment, we remain inside. We put a very stringent condition in terms of business, investment, people. And we made due diligence, and we are running due diligence. People that say that is not enough I don't know which kind of due diligence or study they did about SK. Massimo, we want to add something? Okay, thank you.
Over here. Here, sì. Grazie.
Stacey Irish, Energy Intelligence. I have two questions for you, one on Kazakhstan and one on Egypt. The Kashagan field was scheduled to start up in the second half of 2016, and Eni said that it will be profitable for the partners in the government at oil prices of around $80 a barrel, but prices are less than half of that. So I want to know if Eni is going to revise the break-even price for Kashagan, and is it still on target to start at the end of the year? The second question is for Zohr. Has Eni formed any concrete agreements with Israel and Cyprus over the use of Eni's offshore infrastructure at Zohr?
So Massimo is going to answer about Kashagan. I'm going to answer about Zohr and agreements.
So you mentioned the $80 break-even, but $80 break-even means the full field, the full life break-even for the project. So certainly, if we consider the very beginning of this investment that you remember has been early 2000, and you consider full life, that's really the break-even. If you consider what's going on from today on, definitely Kashagan remain a viable investment to be pursued. Definitely for the investors. Definitely for the investors, together with the Republic. Just to give you some numbers looking forward, so the capital invested on our share in Kashagan is around 7 billion euro today, and the investment is substantially finalized. So we expect at the beginning of production, end of this year. So if you consider the cash flow expected, our share in the remaining 3 years all over our 4-year plan, so from 17 to 19, we expect to cash in something that would be, at our scenario, so $65 end of 2019, something in a range of 30% of what we spend starting from beginning of 2000. So definitely remain a very viable, quite interesting investment even today.
So for Zohr and for Egypt and the Egyptian facilities, clearly now we are working on Zohr, and we have Damietta, that is an LNG that we own with Gas Natural. We had discussions with the different joint ventures, also with Cyprus, to see how they can use these facilities. And it's clear that discussions are going on. They have to develop the field first. So they have to develop the field. We have to develop the field for the export. It's clear that in terms of facilities, we will be very happy. I'm talking for our facility. I'm not talking for, I don't know, for the other. But we'll be very happy to use our facility to export gas coming from other countries. Then there is. We need also, they have to discuss also between countries. It's not just an agreement between companies. So for countries, I cannot tell you anything. I imagine that they have discussion ongoing, but I cannot say anything more.
Just here, Francesco.
Hello, I'm Francesco Spini with La Stampa. I've got a few questions for you. The first is about Nord Stream. Is there the possibility that Eni will invest in Nord Stream, and which are the times for this kind of investments? The second is about Egypt. What has changed after the Regenis tragedy? If you are concerned about the political situation in Egypt, if there is something that is going on about in concerns and so on. And what would happen in Libya if it would be a conflict What if Eni has got some plans?
Conflict between?
Yeah, a war in Libya.
We have a war in Libya.
Yes, we have.
Since 2010.
Sure, but an international one with the
third. Okay, the third.
And the last one is yes, about the relationships with Russia. That is a part of the first question about Nord Stream, of course. Which are these relationships? Thank you.
No, thank you. For the first question, if you are interested in Nord Stream, I think I already answered in the past, we are not interested. Because it's too far from Italy to talk about the same quantity. This is gas for the north of Europe. So we are not interested in investing in Nord Stream. We have to also say that strategically, we invest in transportation system only in the case we are transporting our equity production, oil and gas. That must be the title. We are not a transportation company. That must be clear. Otherwise, we make a big mess, and we want to be simple and clear. So we are not a transportation company. We are not going to invest anymore in a pipe that are transporting gas that is not our equity. Second, Egypt, also for Egypt, I said clearly that what we want that the Egyptian government, and now it appears that they are doing a lot, goes fast to find the person that did this kind of terrible act against the poor young Italian person, and that is something that is has been very difficult. Put in jeopardy is also their relationship with Italy and Egypt. But I remarked, I recorded that in the last weeks we had big progress. It means that the president said something very clearly on Italian newspapers. So a president that accepts or wants to talk in an Italian newspaper means they want to go fast to the truth, and means that want to talk with the Italians. And I think that is very positive. And that is all. I think that for Libya, I don't really. It's not easy to think about a war that maybe you meant to have external countries that go and fight in Libya. I think that we don't have to do anything in Libya until we don't have a government. So we have to act through negotiation and diplomacy to have a government, as we are doing, avoiding any kind of attack. I think that our recent history showed that any kind of intervention then didn't create any kind of solutions. I think that the solution comes through dialogue. The solution comes through respect the ownership and the position of a country. A country has to find a solution inside, and they have the strength. Each country has the strength to grow with self-help. He understand what he wants to do. Democracy is to leave the freedom at each country to decide about its future. Then, if the country is there, we can help them. But they have to ask, and we must have a counterpart that's born through the condition inside and not outside. I'm not talking as Ian, I'm talking as Claudio Descalzi, and that is what I believe.
Gian Domenico?
Hi, I'm Gian Domenico Serò from AGI. A question for President Marcegaglia. In the new plan, Eni has lowered the scenario about oil prices. Talking as also like President of Business Europe, what's the impact of this new scenario, and what the hopes of business community, European business community? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, first of all, in the years of the plan, as you know, world economy is still growing at a lower level than before, talking about 3.5%. We are talking about still a robust US economy growth. We are talking about European growth, which is still not very important, but around 1.8%. Emerging markets still with some problems. Brazil still affected by recession. Russia getting a little bit better, but still with problems. China not growing as it grew before. So, I mean, overall, the growth, the world growth is not so good. The impact of lower price in oil is mixed. First of all, as you have seen in the past, when the oil price was going down, there was a good impact on economy, and there was also a good impact on financial market. Now it's the opposite. We see that this low price of oil is also affecting negatively the financial markets. There is some instability there. So I think at the end there should be a better balance. Because from one side, of course, for manufacturing companies, a lower oil price means lower cost of production, so it could be better margin. But on the other side, for some companies, European companies that export in countries producing oil, this could be a problem, because, of course, this kind of countries will have less money to invest. So overall, I think this price, a very low price in oil, is not a good news also for European manufacturing companies. And as I said, I think there should be a better balance between supply and offer of oil, and I think a price which could be a little bit higher could be even good also for manufacturing companies. And we think at the end of this year, maybe there will be a better balance between offer and offer from one side, and demand on the other side, and maybe the price could go a little bit higher.
Grazie. Qui.
Hi, I'm Roberto Antonini, the News Agency from Italy. The EU DAFI directive on alternative fuel will push for use of LNG in road transport and also in the harbors for ships for a cleaner way of going. So, do you think this will have an impact on your business? Are you thinking to develop something about this argument? Thinking over, moreover, that in May it is expected legislative decree for the Italian government that will have also something about LNG for transport.
Thank you. We are extremely positive on that. We are a project. We have already some discussion and joint venture, and we are pushing because we think that is the right way to make gas advocacy, is the right way to follow the COP21 gas advocacy to reduce emissions. And we think that if we are able to use in transportation, gas is a big step for the future to reduce emission and to really be material in what we want to do. And not just talk about solution, and that is a clear solution. So we hope that the European Union, and we hope also that in Italy we can have some strong signal in terms of law, in terms of decree, like the situation happened with the green diesel or biodiesel. that from a European point of view and then application in each country has been decided to have a 5% mix, 10%, up to 10%, and that allows us to be very effective in developing new technology and new patents. And now we have the green diesel and also green refinery to cover this market that can reduce more than 30% the emissions. So I think that we can replicate in transportation. Transportation is a big part of our emission for what we did for diesel, also with gas.
Francesca.
I'm Francesca Paggio from ANSA. You said that you are not a transportation company. I'm here.
No, I'm watching everybody. I'm controlling everybody,
Okay.
the expression and the feeling.
You said you are not a transportation company, but I'd like to know your opinion about the memorandum of understanding that Edison and Gazprom signed 1 month ago about a new pipeline from Russia to Italy, and if you can be involved in some way or not, because you are not a transportation company.
I think that you made the question and I gave the answer. No, we are not involved, and honestly, I don't have any kind of opinions. And it's two companies that want to transport gas. I imagine Russian gas to Italy. I think that for Italy's securitization, energy securitization, have different kind of source of gas, of energy is positive. I don't have any particular comment, honestly. We are not interested in this kind of project in any case.
Question here.
Hello, Angelina Rasquet from Bloomberg News. I had a question about Iran, but we know that Total and Cepsa, some refiners in Europe, were able to get cargoes from Iran, and I was wondering if any refineries are likely to get Iranian crude anytime soon. And also I was wondering if you've made public if you still owe Iran any money that could have been frozen under the sanctions, and if so, what is that amount? And also, what is the break-even price for Goliath? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That is your suggestion. We understood. So we are together. You are together. So Iran. No, we are not getting cargo now from Iran. We got some cargo in 2014. They use Iranian cargo to recover our costs. So that is was of the buyback process. You use oil to recover cost. We find an agreement and close formally the outstanding with Iran in November. We signed an agreement in November or December. So now we are going to have additional cargoes in 2016 to cover these outstandings or this due. I don't know, honestly said, if we have additional agreement to import Iranian crude at the moment. I don't think so at the moment. They are not the typical. It's not the typical crude for our refineries. That is the issue. But we use to recover costs at the moment. Goliath break-even is below $50. It's between $45 and $50 break-even dollar. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a question here, Alessandra.
Alessandra Capozzi, Radio Coro Il Sole 24 Ore. One question about dividend policy. You today confirmed the 80 cents for this year, but which is in your strategy the sustainable floor for the other years of the plan? Thanks.
I just say something that I give the floor to Massimo. What we said today is that we confirm our strategy and policy of last year where 0.8 is the floor. That's all. And Massimo demonstrate through figures and numbers that is sustainable. We have the necessary flexibilities to sustain these figures with the auctioneer because we reduced break-even. And so we didn't change anything, and we didn't say anything for the future because we are just confirming what we said last year. 80 cents per euro cent per share is our floor. Massimo, we want to say something else?
Just to add that you mentioned the break-even. So we said that the break-even, the cash neutrality for this dividend is around $60. We said $60 in 2017, something that we judge in our scenario absolutely, with high level of probability. More or less, that's the scenario that everyone today is an average is assuming. So we believe it, and we believe it would be sustainable if measured in terms of payout and cash flow sustainability. Definitely, we are retaining some flexibility in order to cope with potential delay in this recovery in the oil price. During the presentation, we mentioned, first of all, flexibility in CapEx. We said that 40% in our CapEx plan is still uncommitted, so it could be part of, I would say, even further postponement, or I would say not only postponement, but if it were in the case the price recovery would be, I would say, slightly in delay, definitely we will have additional window for renegotiation. So it means that the 3.5 billion of savings for renegotiation we already got could be even higher in case of a lower Brent scenario looking forward for 16 and 17. We said that we are retaining even additional flexibility on the disposal plan because not all we decide is not more core for us is in the 7 billion disposition plan we announced. We said that, for example, gas and power, the retail gas and power is not in. Claudio mentioned that we would like to strike some more value from an industrial point of view from this business, but we have to decide based on the needs, even which is the right timing to do it. And we said that another example, we are not adding any additional share from in Saipem that is part of this plan, and we are still retaining 18% free on any shareholder agreement with the new shareholder in the company.
Last question here. Sorry. Well, one last. Okay, here and then the last.
Two last. 10 questions.
Yeah, this is Eric Silvers with the Wall Street Journal. I wanted to ask you another industry question, sort of the flip side, or perhaps another aspect of, you mentioned the historic nature of OPEC speaking to non-OPEC members. Another important aspect that's in the last 2 years has kept oil prices very low has been shale production in the U.S., and now there's a big question about how soon when the production will fall, when it can come back, how nimble the U.S. shale production is, and with the premise, obviously, that I know Eni is not big into shale oil, but I was wondering sort of your point of view of the shale oil production, how resilient you think it'll be, at what point they start coming back, at 50, 60.
So, the shale oil, I think that it's not easy to answer to this question with a unique answer because shale oil is very spread out in the U.S. Geography, and we have different kinds of break-even. There are shale oil at 75, there are shale oil at 60 or 50. I think that on average, at $60 per barrel with the new technology can flow. The issue is that after 1.5 years, 2 years, the shale oil is not just a technical matter, it's also a financial one. It's also to have the companies, to have contractors, because in 2 years you stop your equipment, you stop your rigs, you stop your contractors that move out in other countries, on other projects. So I think that it's not just you put on, you put off, you switch off, you switch off. It's not like that. because the shale oil, like the shale gas, required a huge amount of people, huge amount of equipment, and huge amount of financials. So the financial situation or the credit situation in the US is no more the same of 2010. So the money is a little bit more expensive and is going probably to grow. So the situation is not so easy, and it's not just technical. When you talk about $60, you talk about $40, $50, you talk about a technical break-even. I think that you have to consider the company break-even. And when you have a very high leverage or 100% debt, it's not easy to restart immediately. So I don't think the story is replicable. They can replicate the story, but I think it takes time to recover. I think that the agreement they're going to find open on OPEC is to stabilize the situation. Stabilize the situation now, not increase production now, means that we can get a balance between supply and demand within these years, maybe October, November. But then we have still a huge question mark about the quantities of oil that has been stocked. So there is a lot of storage of oil. We don't know exactly how much. We don't know exactly how long it takes to be sell out and evacuate. I think that is something that can happen immediately. But it's clear that production is going down, investment are going down, and the spare capacity is the lowest ever.
So just at the corner back there, and then maybe a last one.
Mr. Descalzi and Mrs. President, two questions, very local, very Italian. Today it came out the books about Eni, and they try to tell the story about Eni as a big parallel estate in Italy. And they say formally that what you are doing now, Mr. Descalzi, the transformation of Eni, if it was made just a couple of years ago, the things will be better today. So how do you feel about this? And for both, the question is about Confindustria. You are two electors of the new president. You will vote in 2 weeks. So if you have an idea of which of the candidates you prefer, or if you think, as Mr. Moretti said yesterday, that Confindustria needs to be transformed, changed radically, and how do you feel about this?
So about the first question, honestly, I'm very happy that I started this transformation. But when you look at what has been done in the exploration and production, exploration started in 2008, so this transformation has roots also in the past from a technical point of view. So for Confindustria, I really, I've been focused on Thor recently. So I think that the best candidate for me is my president, Mrs. Marcegaglia, but I cannot vote her because she doesn't want. So.
Okay. On the first question, just one thing. When we were elected and we held the first board that was in May 2014, the price of oil was 100 and something, and anyway, Mr. Descalzi asked to the board to approve a new organization, approve a new strategy, which at that moment seems to be a little bit strange because everybody was saying, why are you now, you want to restructure chemical, you want to restructure refinery, you want to have a more lean organization to be very flexible to change the company. But that was exactly what he meant to do, and the board agreed on this. I have also some of my directors here, and so we all agreed on the fact that we had to change the company, we had to do also things that maybe could be done even before. Claudio said before that on chemicals we lost a lot of money, on refinery some years ago we lost a lot of money. So I think what Claudio is doing together with the board is the right thing, and we are really restructuring the company as it was necessary to do. On Confindustria, well, first of all, I think today we are talking about such a wonderful story of Eni, robust numbers. So I don't understand why we should talk about Confindustria, but anyway, no. You know, my opinion is that, well, first of all, I cannot be candidate, so I don't want, and I cannot be candidate, so this is one thing, maybe one of the few things on which I don't agree with my CEO. Of course, I'm kidding. No, well, there are two candidates now. They are both good candidates. There are good program. I think the fact that there are two people who are presenting their program. They are talking about what kind of industrial policy you need to have in Italy, if the small, medium enterprise in Italy have to grow, to become more international. Everything I think is good thing. I think Confindustria is still a good institution, and all institution, it has to change, it has to become leaner, less bureaucratic, but still the fact that now here in London, where we are talking about ENI, you are making a question on Confindustria, it means that Confindustria is still a good institution, and that people are looking at that. So I think it's a good process, and the two candidates are two good candidates.
Thank you. So we have a last one here.
It was last 10 things.
I know.
Good afternoon, Antonio Peciccia from Argus Media. On gas supply renegotiations, I was wondering if you could give us some more details about the status of other renegotiations, particularly the one with Sonatrach. You said that you agreed you already agreed on renegotiation, and I was wondering if you can give us at least the detail on the time frame. Secondly, about Zohr, you said that the gas from Zohr will target mainly the Egyptian market. I was wondering if you are planning to export some gas to the Damietta facility. And the very last one about the referendum, I was wondering if you have any views on what share of ENI's national production is at stake on the 17th of April.
So first on Algeria, I think that we just last year we signed an agreement with the Algerian government. So it's on price and volume. We cannot disclose anything about this contract because there is from a commercial point of view. We're going to start to discuss again as we do normally every year. So something that is going to last. Yes, and in October we start again discussion. But I think that. Everything is under control. I mean, there is no any special issue and problem. For Zohr, I would say mainly why, because there is a huge amount of gas, and we have some upside potentials, and we have a growth in the Egyptian markets, but our growth can be maybe faster and bigger. So it's clearly that we say that is a priority, but if we are able to fulfill our priority, that is the Egyptian market, we have in Egypt about 37 billion cubic meter per year of spare capacity for export through about 18 or 20 billion through LNG, and then we have the Arab pipeline. So we have a huge amount of gas that at the end of the day will be available for export, and we have already the installation. We don't have to invest. That is very good for the Egyptian country, for the Egyptian company, and also for the producers. So for that reason I put this mainly that you pick immediately up.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Sorry? For the first... I think that more to talk about what we can lose, because we have some production, we have some investment. I think that is more the concept. And my question is why? Why? We are not making new wells. There is already a law that says that you cannot operate on drill or develop new field or exploit new field in the range of the 12 miles. No incident, no accident. It's gas, and we say that gas will be the future. We have employment, we have technologies, we have contractors, tourism. The only way where tourism, mass tourism, became a real business is in Ravenna, where we have 90% of our production. They are against this kind of referendum. So my question is, why? That's all. My answer is why, period.
Thank you very much.